Bippity bam! What's up, creepers and geekers? Chris, Atari Creep. How's everyone doing today? I am wicked excited to get this started. This series. I'm going to try to do these, I don't know how often, at least once a month. I'd like to do one every week, but that's not realistic. That's not realistic. But I do want to give you commentary tracks, flicks and stuff. If you've been around, a couple of things you should know. This is the very first flick. Which way am I pointing here? Very first flick I've ever seen that had the red stuff in it, gore. It was completely by accident. Excuse me. I'm just waking up, guys. It's 8:25 in the morning. But I've been up since 6. And I'm still trying to wake up. This is my first cup of coffee. But this was the very first horror flick I had ever seen. And when we get to the scene itself, where I walked into the living room, and that infamous moment happened, then we will discuss that further. Also, whether you know or not, there's been litigation between Victor Miller, the gentleman who wrote this script, and Sean S. Cunningham, the director of Friday the 13th. Also the producer on Last House on the Left with Wes Craven. And it's fun, all these movies kind of had a Boston tie. Last House on the Left was specifically funded by Boston theater owners, but that's neither here nor there. That held up any production on any the litigation on any Friday the 13th anything. Well, it's settled, and there's been announcements floating around Sean S. Cunningham that by October 2023 we should have some form of a Friday the 13th, whether it be a prequel, sequel, reboot, rehash, fucking fail boot, whatever the fuck they're called these days. Not quite a reboot because it's still in the universe, but it really is. We should be getting one of those soon, and I'm pretty excited because if done right, Friday the 13th can be a great movie. It's a formulaic thing, and as long as you're creative in what you're doing, cool. So the copy I had that we're about to watch is, and I know you're probably not going to be able to see this on my little teeny screen, but I'll try to do my best. It's this one right here. It's early 2000s, I believe this came out. It's called the Ultimate Edition DVD Collection. It comes in these little thin things with part 1 and part 2. I've already queued it up and ready to rock and roll. Hopefully you won't be able to hear it on my end, so you can hear it on your end, and I don't want no copyright strikes anyway. So, I have it queued up before the Paramount logo. All I'm seeing is a black screen. I'm going to hit play, and when I say go, after 1, okay? So 3, 2, 1, go. And I'll announce what's happening, just so we can see we're sunk. I just got the Paramount logo. The word Paramount literally just came up. A Gulf Western company. It's gone to blue. Just so you have an idea where I'm at. The Sean S. Cunningham film. I can't wait to see what they do with the franchise. I really can't. I mean, people are like, oh my god, another Friday the 13th. I mean, I liked the remake. I really did. I thought Derek Mears was an amazing Jason. I didn't like the look. And I'm so sick and tired of the fucking jacket. I don't mind the hockey mask, just enough with the jackets. I mean, it would make sense. I know it would make sense. Maybe not in the summertime, but at first glance, as some of the campers singing by the campfire, how picturesque. How picturesque. So I'm going to talk about this movie as if you don't know anything about it, okay? So I'm probably going to spew a bunch of stuff that you already know. This right here, the POV of the killer, the it's genius. Harry Manfredini knocked it out of the park with the music and the soundtrack. Really did. This movie was sleazy, but it was great. The suspense was great, and it took that old whodunit and turned it on its head. Taking what Halloween did and bringing it to the nth degree. creating a genre. I understand. I mean, we can go all the way back to Black Christmas and maybe even M for Murder, and a couple of other flicks, but you really have to credit this one for the big early 80s slasher boom. You know, Halloween showed us how it was supposed to be done. Friday the 13th showed us how the 80s wanted it done. Wonderful flick. You get so many great people involved. Fucking Tom Savini. Come on, man. One of my all-time heroes. I've been following Tom Savini since I was probably 11, 10, 12. Reading about his work in Fangoria magazine, and I do have the proud distinction of having him like one of my Instagram posts when I made a Friday the 13th mask, COVID mask cover. I ended up selling that on Etsy. I got some good money for it. Oh, excuse me. Uh-oh. I think they're going to go fornicate. There's going to be some penetration here. My kind, anyway. So, the classic setting it up, That's what we're doing here. Just setting up the mood. It's setting the rules, pretty much. These two are off fucking around, and it wasn't supposed to be a morality tale, but it ended up becoming that. I suppose Victor Miller just needed an excuse for why the counselors weren't paying attention to Jason when he was drowning, So he just used sex. I don't think it was supposed to be like a morality tale. But it most certainly turned into a plot point when it came to the killer, I'm gonna talk like, we don't know who it is, okay? I'm sorry. This whole point of view, the music, even hearing the people in like far away as if you're listening to them. Pretty cool stuff. This is genius. Pure fun. This right here, this little string section. I used to hum this walking down the halls in school or whatever. I'd be like, ding ding, ding ding. Horror music was in my head at all times when I was a kid. Uh-oh, busted. Put your willy away, kid. Yeah. So we don't know what the fuck happened to him. I mean, he's bloody in the belly, so we're going to assume that he got stuck. And we have no idea what happens to this chick. Oh, shit. I bet you she hurt her ankle on that one. And you know what? You know what's so great about this flick? They stole from so much. That they stole that from Psycho, and they were not apologetic. They were unapologetic about it. They're like, you know what? Yeah. The scene at the very end was. I've always loved that logo. I never understood why we always got the script that we did that we now consider the Friday the 13th font, but I always liked that blocky logo. Always wanted to have that as a thing, but sorry, I got off topic there. Burp, burp, burp. Tom Savini is my boy. Harry Manfredini. Friendini. But the music's brilliant, and they just didn't give a shit about what they took from. Again, they admit it all the time. The sleazy little film that could. That's right, I forgot that he produced it too. And that whole fading to white thing. I don't think anyone had really done that before. I mean, I'm sure there was a film that had done it somewhere, but you gotta admit, it's pretty, at least in 1980, that would have been, you're used to fade to black, a nice calming black, because, the movie theater is dark, and All of a sudden, it's a big, bright white light. I mean, huge one right in your face. That couldn't have been very settled, you know. I've yet to ever go down to this town, this Blairtown, New Jersey. This shit all looks pretty much exactly the same. I mean, obviously some of the storefronts have been updated and changed, and I'm sure these pumps are either not there or whatever. But in fact, I don't even think this is part of the same shot. I think they actually filmed this at a different location. I could be completely wrong there, but all that still looks the same. I see a lot of. I don't know why that was important. Oh, the dog has a dick. This character, stolen from Psycho. I've always liked this right here. There's a couple towns in Massachusetts that still look just like this. I was living over in up by this town called Pepperell. What was it called though? God, it was so long ago I can't remember. Townsend? I was either in Pepperell or Townsend. I can't remember. But that what you're looking at here literally was the whole downtown of that place. Fade away. Camp Blood. So the guy just gets up and doesn't pay for anything. I don't know if he's finished with his food. He's just like, fuck it, I'm taking this chicken to the woods. Here comes one of my favorite characters of all time. Going to Camp Blood, aren't ya? Ain't ya? Man, Ralph is awesome. Shut up, Ralph. That guy, not the actual character, but that guy in a movie goes all the way back to Dracula, the very first talkie, very first horror flick with sound. And there's an old man talking about werewolves and vampires. No one goes to Dracula's castle. It's cursed. This whole flick is formulaic. It was just sleazy and gory. Now we're getting some more exposition about the camp. Now what happened at the camp earlier? All we saw was a couple of kids getting fucking whacked. Now we're going to hear about the troubles. If Camp Blood could sing it right now, it would say, "Swing low, sweet chariot." Not because it's dying or anything, but because it, you know, no one has seen the troubles of life. I don't know. Steve Christie, Mr. Gene Short's boy. But this character, going back to the Janet Leigh character in Psycho, the bait and switch character. This chick's cute. Too bad she didn't survive. Look at the size of that fucking steering wheel. Look at that, the oil rig. I bet you it doesn't have power steering and nothing. That's an old truck. Love that thing. In 1962, they were going to open up and the water was bad. Now he's going to be dead. Crazy and broke my ass. Crazy, broken, dead. Dumb kids. Heads full of rocks. I still say that to this day. She's like, I'm not afraid of ghosts. Just for good measures, let's throw a cemetery into the mix. Man, they really were fucking pushing the creep factor in this flick. All right. It's my understanding that crossroad right there still looks pretty much the same too. Or at least that sign is still up. Last I saw from like one of those film location videos. This is classic Friday the 13th. The goofy music, people coming in a vehicle, a little bit of banter. Hey, look, it's Kelvin Bacon. Here we go, that girl in the middle. That was my first girl. Yeah, she broke my gore cherry. I'll be in love with her till the day I die. And only for that reason. But she's cute too. That Ford is awesome. I love those old Ford grills. As a matter of fact, I love the Broncos with that grill setup. Gorgeous trucks. I don't like long pickups. I mean, I know they're functional and everything, but that sign, the Camp Crystal Lake sign, took so long to get out there. You know what I mean? People had tried it in the past, like years and years ago. I'm talking about pre-2000s. It never came out right. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the sign showed up. You could buy it, either small magnets of it or life-size versions of it. But it took a while for people to get it right. There's like little nuances to it that if you don't notice them when they're there, but you fucking notice it when it's not. This guy's like, hey, come fucking work. You just got here. You haven't been out of the truck yet. I'm putting you to work. Alice. Now, I don't know why she's coming out here with a fucking broom. Oh, is she going to sweep the tree over? Yeah, 2 weeks to fucking get the place going. Do you really think you would, go to work 2 weeks early and just hang out? Let's just do, I mean, I know it's 79 for them, I'm sure. But look at this dude. He's like the epitome of the late 70s guy. The fucking porn stash, those creepy pedo glasses, the curly hair, the bandana, those shorts with the little knife thing on it. I mean, it could be worse. They could be like real short like they were in the 80s. Adrienne King here, she did a great job. She went through hell after this movie. She ended up getting a stalker because of this fucking thing. And apparently a gun got introduced into the situation at one point. You'll notice she'll always have a German Shepherd with her. And I bet you that has a lot to do with it. She's cute. She's one of the women who, not only have they stayed cute, but I think she gets prettier as she's getting older. I really do. I'd love to meet her sometime. She was the perfect final girl for this exact flick. None of this shit's ever explored, which I wouldn't expect it to be. Not your cup of tea. Is there a problem? It's like, why is she there in the first place? And now they're hinting towards a relationship with these two. Was she only there because they were, together? That's fucked up, because she almost died because she wanted to give this fucking creep another chance. I see Steve here and I think Wonderland Murders. I don't know why. If you don't know what that is, if you have a sensitive tummy, and Constitution. Don't look it up. But it had to do with like John Holmes and lots of drugs and some loan sharks and lots of brutal murder. Dude caused this problem, got a whole bunch of other people murdered, and was forced to sit there and watch it. My God, the acting in this is so bad. I love it. Look at the suspenders on this fucking kid. I don't see you, even though you're right next to me. That's sexist. That old Jeep. That's a Willys, baby. That's the real deal. That's where the alligators are. Crocodiles in the cabin, I guess he said. I don't know. I don't ever remember doing archery in high school or in camp. My high school had a bunch of archery things set up all the time when I was a kid. I never got to do archery. Look at this shit. They really did that. They really did that. You know what? This guy's a good dude. I can't believe he didn't get any. I like him. He's got character. You're beautiful when you're angry, sweetheart. I love that sexy talk. Talk about getting beaten, you know. Oh my, a Jeep is pulling up. I wonder if that's Steve Christie or not. But his top wasn't up. But then again, he talked about rain, so maybe he put it up thinking about it, and who knows. It's a mystery movie. It's a mystery movie and a slasher. It's a molasher. Or a slicery. Slicery flick. Man, I love roads like that. We got a couple of them around here. Literally just cutting right through the woods. They are little goats. What was her dream, man? We never got to hear what Annie's fucking dream was all about. I hear the new box set, the new Blu-ray Super Duper tin thing, is amazing. I hear they cleaned it up really well, but I prefer the grainy. I really do. There's a grittiness to the first three that kind of disappears in the fourth one. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the fourth one's part of the package. You know? A quadrilogy? I don't know what you would call that. This is great. Neat. I wish you could just fucking reach over and stab the shit out of her. But she's like, fuck you, I'm going to terrify you first. Fuck you. Or they, the killer. We don't know who it is. Oh. Ew. Fucking music really does it, man. It sounds like chase music. Creepy chase fucking music. Stolen from Psycho. Now, believe it or not, this is not my favorite Friday the 13th flick. An idea was passed on to me to do a live stream talking about horror flicks and call it the Creep Show. I might do that. I might call it the Creeps, with an S, show. As in the show belongs to the creep. I don't want to call it creep show. I mean, that's just too, This is great. I love this. Technically, third kill. I'm going to call it the first real kill, though. Because it's not, da-da, here I am. I mean, it is, but she falls down. She gets to look up. Look in the eyes. It doesn't just happen. That probably seems like an eternity to the victim. And that Tom Savini neck slash, classic. The cut's already there. You just lift your head up a little bit, and Tasso's pumping blood in the background. If you don't know who any of these people are, shame on you. Or that's okay if you're just a casual horror guy or gal. There's my girl. And I'm not meaning that sexually. See, that's what I'd be doing. I ain't painting shit. Where's the lake? Rocky Road. Class ring. Why do they need the class ring? To maybe trick you into thinking maybe it's a man? Neutralize nitrites. We had a reservoir we used to go swimming at. And there was this dude that would run around that we called Nature Boy. And he would run around without his fucking clothes on and just watch the girls in their bikinis and snap his bean, We caught up to him once. He was throwing rocks at the girls at one point, so we went after him and beat him up. But we were teenagers, shut up. Oh, package. You know what I just realized? And this has nothing to do with anything, but I had to ship out a package yesterday. And I couldn't find my tape measure. I'm playing with it right now. Apparently it's here at my table, my desk. If you're ever out, don't fucking do this. Don't ever do this game. Pretending to be drowning. To be honest with you, these kids' response time was awesome. It shows that they were able to work the camp properly should they have not gotten murdered. Right there, I hope you're sunk in with me. When the paddle almost hits Alice's ass, even when I was young, I was like, I thought he was doing it just to be a jerk, but no. I thought he was going to try to get her in the bum. I would. That's the type of stupid shit I would do, even in an emergency. I just wanted to kiss you, fool. It's funny to listen to Harry Manfredini talk about the... He says, we use this thing called an echoplex. And he's right, you can't really get them anymore. It's kind of an old tape delay kind of thing to make that noise. Look at it. It's a snake. I like snakes. I gotta feed my snake today. He shed last night. He looked so shiny and pretty. He was talking about, I use this old thing called an echoplex, and it's just like one of my dream pieces of gear. It's, if you're into guitar at all, it's a delay pedal, but it actually runs on tape. Basically what it does is it records what you're playing and then plays it back however milliseconds long ago you want it. It could be within seconds for a nice slap back, or so it has a little bit of an echo like the and it fades out over each regeneration. I mean, I have a delay pedal. It's an analog one, but it's not an actual tape delay. Tape delay sounds amazing. I do this all the time. How do you call a snake? I'll try to get him out to feed, and I'll be like, come here, buddy. Now, unfortunately, this is real. They really. It was the early '80s, late '70s. It was independent movies. I'm not condoning it because that fucking thing didn't need to die for this movie. So shame on you, Sean Cunningham. But yeah, they really did that. Nipples. Look at him. He thinks he's a badass now. I took care of the mean snake. Apple pie. This guy cracks me up. I used to have. You remember in AOL when you could change all the sounds? Like you got mail to whatever you want? I had this guy. A lot of his quotes in my AOL. Like, yeah, that was my welcome. Who are you people? Can it Coaches? I had that one. The what have you been smoking, boy? I used it whenever an error prompt would come up. You know, that you'd click the OK. What have you been smoking, boy? Guy named Ralph. Well, yeah, I just realized how this whole headdress thing probably didn't age very well. That's the '80s. But that doesn't answer the question. Is he fucking dangerous? Dorf. He always reminded me of that one little alien with the helmet like that. I think it was in the Jetsons. Never keep Chief waiting. All right, we just need to borrow a blue bike and put some stickers on it. Although that actually looks like a legit bike. It's a nice bike, though. I'm more of a chopper bobber kind of guy, but I mean, if you want all that shit on your bike, so be it. Now, a lot of these scenes just look like they're padding it out. I'll never say that this is the most exciting movie in the world. And matter of fact, it's pretty fucking slow for the most part until shit starts going. But somehow it works. Like, spoilers. There's a scene where Alice makes coffee later, instant coffee. And she, like, legit literally makes coffee. You watch the entire process. Who do you think he is? His tone was perfect. To be fair, Ralph's just actually trying to help him. Really. He seems crazy, but. Oh, wait till you see what's next, sweetheart. You're all doomed. There's something about the audio right there as he's riding away and he says, "You're all doomed." It's almost like they didn't do anything to it. They just took the raw recording and used it. And I don't know if it was a budget thing or if that's what they were going for. I doubt it. I mean, you can't really go for anything in a film this inexpensive, but it just adds to that. I don't know. Cheap, weird movies give you a whole different feel. Low budget flicks. They have a realistic gritty to them. And it feels dirty. It feels rough. It feels dangerous. Oh, this guy's shorts is something else too. Yeah, it looks like he's a Dolphins fan. Scumbag. How many people does it take to get a generator started? Okay, I'll take that back. It's probably good to let more than one person know how to work the fucking thing. Maybe. Just maybe. Electricity. That's a great shot. The calmness of the lake. Clouds coming in. Calm before the storm. Now these bee shots, like of beavers and shit, reminds me so much of Last House on the Left. They did a lot of that in that flick. David Hess is in the background. Wheels turning. Leaves are turning brown. Coming to gather you. David Hess was a great musician. He was a fun actor, too. If you don't know who he is, he's most famous for a trilogy of flicks of him being basically someone who, and I don't want to say the R word, but R in revenge movies. The two most known are, of course, Last House on the Left and House at the Edge of the Park, or By the Edge of the Park, which is a weird foreign flick that has a lot of overdubbing. But it was filmed in New York. It's so weird. So weird. And I forget, the other one was like a kidnap hitchhike flick. Your typical kidnap that nerdy family and he ends up seducing the wife, and the husband has to keep driving the car while his wife's making noises he never heard. Can I help you? This guy has some star royalty in his blood. I can't remember exactly who he's related to. I almost want to say Barry Manilow, but that's not true. So just somebody around that time period. Fuck, I wish I could remember. I was supposed to be giving you trivias. Yeah. You're about to get some bacon, lady. Some sweet. I always wondered if her nose was fake. It's so pointy. I'm not picking on her. I hope you don't think so. If you ever watch this. I always wondered, though, if she had work on that. Because it always just seemed a little off to me. But that could be her natural look. I think she's beautiful, though. But again, she was my first. Yeah. It doesn't work. Yep. Look at Kevin Bacon. That look on his face, like, can you just hurry up so I can give you some bacon? Him and his brother used to be in a band that traveled around. They were great musicians, too. I always confused him with the dude who played Beastmaster when I was little. They look a lot alike. You know, at glance. More B-roll. The waters are getting rough. Great symbolism here. Whether he meant it or not. This is great stuff. Showing we had a calm river, or lake. Things are going to get rough. Now things are going to start going. All right, so now that we're at this scene, I might as well start setting up the scene for you. Not what's going to happen here, but what happened to poor Christopher Call when he was 5, 6 maybe. So these two are going to, And rightfully so. Look at that. That. Yum, yum. Dimples. I love it when there's dimples on the back. Okay, maybe I'm jumping ahead here. I'm premature. Oddly enough, I've never snapped my bean to the scene. No pause and toss. Right there would be perfect. Got everything. I don't want to sound like a pervert either. Jesus Christ. It's supposed to be about the movie, not my weird horror perversions. So, here's the obligatory love scene. You don't really get much out of it, but... And you know what I loved about a lot of the early 80s horror flick love scenes? They had to just get it over with so they can get to the good stuff. So it always made the dude look like a two-pump chump. Always. And none of that was more evident than in the original Halloween. I mean, I don't even think that dude was upstairs long enough to get a shoe off. So at this point, I think my mom had started cooking peanut butter cookies, which is why I wanted to have that peanut butter cookie the other night while doing this, because it would have been a fun little thing, I guess. I don't know. Now, I'm not watching any of this. I'm sure I walked by the living room and saw it and thought it was boring. You know, people sitting in front of a fireplace with a guitar, playing music that I didn't give a shit about. So I probably went into, we had this porch, this sunroom. Probably went in there to get something. Oh, the strip Monopoly scene. This scene aggravates me. Because it ends up so uneven. And I'm sure that had something to do with the clause in little Miss King's contract. Not that I wanted to see more of her. I'm not that disrespectful. It just seems uneven, and it sticks out. It points itself out. So loving, gentle. You can't. This is genius. This whole setup is genius. This is totally Tom Savini. Talk about misdirection. Misdirection, okay? So they're doing probably one of the greatest things, one of the most loving things that you could ever do with another human being. You don't get much more connected than this, all right? I'm not going to try to get all deep with you. But for real. Oh, I don't know if that's actually Kevin Bacon's butt. Well, here they are. Kevin's just about done. There we go. Good job, sir. We're proud of you. And then we see that. Perfect setup. Perfect setup. And I'm going to say that's probably all Tom Savini. I guarantee you Tom Savini is the one who said, hey, Sean, why don't we do this? Just to set up this kill. Now, see, Alice just took a hit of a joint, so she's not exactly pure. Crosby. Someone, Bing Crosby or something like that. Or Harry Crosby. I think that's his name. I can't remember now. It doesn't say in the back of this thing. Kevin Bacon's like, I'll cover your boob for you, honey. Okay. So now my mom's making them cookies. We had just watched something on the movie channel. I don't know if that's even a cable station or not. Yeah, keep your place warm. Fuck that, I'd be falling asleep. I'd be like, nighty night. And my mom had left the TV on by mistake. And I went off to play or something. I don't remember the full scenario. But of course, I'm smelling peanut butter cookies, so I run down to the kitchen. I'm going to hover around for either some batter or the stray cookie that breaks or whatever, because, you know, you don't get a cookie until they're done. Baltic Avenue. One boot. So they do this whole Alice draws first blood thing, I think, to try to justify why she doesn't get to take off too much. And it's funny, as she's about to, the game ends. Again, it's about the unevenness of it. More beer. Genius. Misdirection. Tom Savini. People may have advanced the art of effects, but no one will ever beat Tom Savini's magicianship. Because you got to remember, back then, film didn't lie. So that's what made these things not believable, but shocking and fun and new. I mean, now, we know all about special effects and everything, and we know this wasn't really happening. But I'd be goddamned if it wasn't shocking at the time. And the uncut scene of that is even more brutal. If you look at the end, there's like this one spurt that goes up and over and almost looks like it's going to go into his nose. They actually take an overhead shot of his face, and it does. It spits up all over him, and there's a gurgle sound because there was a malfunction with the blood thing. It was like a hand pump, And the thing is separated, so you had to blow into the tube to get the blood to go, and that's why it shot up and made a gurgling noise. And the MPAA saw and heard that and was like, no. So this is where I walked in, right here. I'm like, ooh, thunder and lightning, because I did like it. And now I'm wondering, oh, what the fuck? I'm weirded out, What is that weird noise? Who the fuck is this walking in? Why is this scary? Again, guys, I was 5, maybe 6. But I did. I walked into the room, and I remember I was on the complete opposite end of the living room watching this happen on this little, whatever size TV we had. But I'll be damned if it wasn't the music that kept me. That's what locked me in. I don't think this movie would have been shit without it. And I used that joke all the way through to my junior high days. The book, The Yellow Stream by I.P. Daly, stuff like that. So now I'm watching this going, whoa, what's going on? Is someone going to scare her? I love jump scares, like doing them. As long as I can remember, I would hide around corners or like hang out at the bathroom door, and as soon as you open it, go, boo! My mom hated it. Ooh, sorry, that was probably loud. But now I'm watching this, and without trying to be funny or pervy, I'm watching this going, damn, I like this. I don't know why. Again, 5 or 6. I never went through icky girl phase. I always liked the form of a woman. I was always into it. Always. Not to say I wasn't super nervous around them growing up. This is how I learned how to fix a sink. Well, whenever a sink wouldn't work, I would do that and feel like a hero. The girl in the panties showed me how to do this. So, okay, so, little 5, 6-year-old me, I suppose if I could have a little stiffy, I would. But now, I'm just frozen. I'm like, this is scaring me. I don't know what's going on. So I'm wondering, is it like a Halloween film? I hadn't even heard of Halloween yet, by the way. Frozen. I'm just fucking frozen. Classic right there. Classic image. Her almost silhouette as she turns the light on. I never understood why she walked into it. You can clearly see that there's nobody there. Right here, baby. This is it. Now I'm thinking, what the fuck? I'm like, okay. Right there. When I saw that, I can't even describe the cold terror that went through my veins. I had no idea. I thought that was real. I got to the point where I was shaking. I almost threw up. 5 and 6, remember, guys. So I ran in to see my mom. I'm crying. Mom, the girl with the axe, it got hurt and all this. So she's like, what are you talking about? So she's thinking there's like an actual emergency. And we come running into the living room, and she's like, oh, yep, see? Fuck this, man. Alice, come on. Oh, well, it's already wet, so don't worry about it. Stay and finish the game. But yeah, so she brought me back to the living room after however long I was freaking out for. I don't remember seeing any of this stuff. As a matter of fact, the next time I remember seeing is when she was out in the field, which we will see her unfilmed demise. And that's it. That's where it sparked. My mom would, I don't know. She did her best. She sat down and watched it with me. Not because she wanted me to watch it, but she wanted to explain to me that, there's a type of entertainment that people enjoy for the thrill of it, and how this is all fake stuff. That's my mom in 1983 with the hair. Not that old, but and the fucking huge glasses. Oh my God. I'm going to go get a perm. Or worse, they would have someone come over to give her a perm. That was big back then, too. And that shit stunk. It smelled like urine. And urine. It smelled horrible. I often wondered if that was a cross-dresser. I don't mean to be mean to the lady, but I always thought she was. I'm like, that's a dude. But maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe he, she, whatever, they were ahead of their time. But regardless, you could tell she definitely wasn't into acting that day. She's so excited about 50 cents or whatever. Back before the economy was caca. Actually, a few years later, it would be caca again. My favorite president was elected that year, but he didn't do very well in the financial front, unfortunately. Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I don't know if that's literally the same Jeep that they used for both him and the killer. I'm just going to start pretending I don't know, okay? We all know who the killer is. We know it's not him. But I mean, I think the wheels are different. Actually, I think it's a completely different. I don't know. I'm going to look really closely now. Move over one. There you go. Your girl got that one working for you. Now, I don't understand how there's not a fucking river of blood in that next room that you can't see. I mean, you just cut the head open a little bit, and it's fucking bleeding everywhere. Everywhere. In that same house when I was a little kid, we had this fireplace, right? It was your typical boxy, colonial home. And I was spinning around. I got dizzy, and I hit my head on the corner of the fireplace. And I got this giant goose egg. That's creepy, right? That's a great image. The hand on the curtain. If you've never seen that, it's like the fingers holding the curtain open just slightly, and then they just let go of it. Fuck, what was I talking about? I'm sure it'll come to me in a few minutes. Oh yeah, I hit my head on the mantle. I got this giant goose egg, and my mom took me in the kitchen to put ice on it, and it popped. Literally, it went, and just fucking blood spurted a good couple feet up in the air until it just started dribbling. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I guess an ice pack's not in the card. So she wrapped up my head, took me to the hospital, and I got 3 stitches. But going back to my point, there should be fucking blood everywhere. You don't just fucking take an axe to the face and not cause a mess. At least by now you'd be smelling that. If you go by the timeline in which the chick got killed and when she went in there, obviously it's not done in real time. So they could have been 20 minutes, 2 hours between all that. We don't know. We're just watching the movie play out as it plays. Here's some famous bloopers, if you will. The police lights being on or sometimes not being on in the right and wrong place. See, they're on there. When he gets to the car, I think they're off. Or in the car, I don't know. Yeah, right there. So we'll just get that out of the way now. Moving on. I think the wheels are different. Unless they did use the same Jeep and just changed the wheels. Depending on who was driving it, I don't know. Classic stalking Friday the 13th. Love this shit. I really can't wait to get through the entire first 4 flicks. That's going to be fun. But we're not always just going to do Friday the 13th flicks, but because of the new Friday the 13th that will be coming out, I may do a ranking of them. If you're interested, let me know down in the comments below. Candles, man. Lanterns are. I used to have this one lantern that would light up any campsite. It was bright as hell, and I either lost it. I think I lost it in the divorce. Not that she took it, but it was, or with the lawyers. But it was just in the storage unit that she had raided before I'd been able to get into there. And I've yet to ever find a lantern. I think the lantern I had was either from the 50s or the 60s. This is brilliant. Classic, creepy. It's taking its time. It's not jump scare. It's not. I mean, I know it's gonna be, but I wonder whose voice they used for that. I don't remember. Look, I just realized that the little sign there on the right of the window looks like the Zodiac. Zodiac speaking. If you don't know who the Zodiac is, he was an individual that terrorized a community with murder and never got caught. He was never caught. Now, once you take this scene into context with the end, Alz's initial, interaction with the perpetrator, the killer, it all, I don't want to call it genius, but it was very well thought out that this lady's a nutcake and she is doing the reverse Norman Bates. Whereas Norman Bates was channeling Mommy. Mommy, in this case, is channeling Jason. She sounds more annoyed. She's trying to help somebody. And I get it. It's raining. She's probably cold as fuck. I mean, that's all she's wearing is that, really. She might have underwear on, but some payoff from foreshadowing, I guess. This lady really knocked it out of the park. She really did. I don't know if she went on to do anything bigger, but I hope she did. And there you go. A little screaming in the background. They didn't play it loud. We just kind of heard it. And thus begins the final girl. That's either an alternative tuning or it's not tuned. It sounds like an alternative tuning, actually. It sounds too put together. It's not open G. You know, we could sit there and do the whole, why would they do this, you know? But in all honesty, leave in the comments below. This situation, it's you and Alice, or you are Alice and this dude. Are you really going to go investigating? I might. I would definitely have a weapon with me. But I think I wouldn't go as far as they did. I would be like, okay, something's going on here. Let's get the authorities out here. At least attempt it, you know? And this is where I would be like, all right, fuck this. I ain't playing with this stuff. Especially after all the shit that the town keeps talking about it. Because I wouldn't even think about a Jason or anything like that, or Mrs. Voorhees, either way. I would think it would be one of the fucking, maybe even Crazy Ralph. Again, which is one of the, you know, one of the misdirections. But someone from town. Maybe that big dude at the diner behind the lady. Anus, or whatever the fuck his name is, Balloon Knot. Maybe they're out there being fucking maniacs. Maybe someone has a grudge against the Christies. A land dispute or something like that, you know? I'm not trying to fuck with that. So, I'm not being able to find people. There's fucking bloody axes. And believe me, you can tell fake blood from real blood. You can almost, again, smell it. That fucking place should start stinking like pennies. I don't care how good of a cleaner you are. Yeah, you should. But we won't play that game. But I'm curious as to what you honestly would have done in this situation. The key is a broken window. The key is breaking in the door. Breaking it down, really. Watch out! Good old school glass. Don't clean it up or anything. Meaning, you know, getting the shards off of the window pane, the frame rather. I like this shot too. Instead of following them in or a cut scene to them, just move over and go to the window. And you know they lit it for that and everything. Beautiful. Now they're showing that the lines are going to be cut. I really like this kind of storytelling. It's giving you information without being fucking too expository, you know? You know what I love about this? This was a big thing back then. And it would always be like the distributor cap would be missing or something like that. You wouldn't be able to make that noise if that was the case. The spark plugs wouldn't be there. Oh, they wouldn't have anything to shoot off of anyway. I mean, the plugs could still be there. My mistake. It is not 10 miles to the nearest crossroads. That guy dropped that girl off within walking distance of the camp, I'm sure. Aww. He gave her a kiss. I just noticed that. I've been watching this movie since 1981. So I was 6 if it happened after March. The obligatory Friday the 13th expository dialogue. More of everything on Friday the 13th. More nonsense on Facebook. More bullshit on Twitter. And definitely more jugs on fucking TikTok. A cesspool of filth. TikTok is a cesspool of filth, and Twitter is an island of reality floating on a sea of diarrhea. Car Niner. That's important to say, Jaws of Life. Believe it or not, they would say stuff like that. They wouldn't say it right away. Because that's going to tell you what the fuck you're about to roll up to. There we go. More continuity bullshit with the lights. That's alright. I hate, and here's a little pet peeve of mine. I hate seeing cop cars with red lights. For the most part, at least in my town, in the Boston area, cruisers won't have red lights. They may have like 1 or 2 little spots where it's red. Okay, so there wasn't a continuity thing there. It's always the first one. I'm sorry. But they're always blue with a little bit of white. Always. And then you have your emergency service vehicles, like the ambulances, which will, in some cases, have blue, white, yellow, and red. But mostly red and white. With maybe a blue on the side, And fire trucks, red and white. Done. Who is that? I like this how he goes, oh, it's you. So we're like, oh. Punch you in the face. I love doing that when I'm watching this with someone for the first time. Because you don't see anything, so I give the jump scare. I dig the point of view, but why would someone be lumbering slowly to the generator? Why did I say generator like the guy did earlier? Generator. That always looked fake to me. I always thought they just faded the shot out to black. And maybe they did. For some reason, that didn't seem like a real power outage to me. Call me kooky, call me wacky. Good old lanterns. Frogs chirping in the background doing their thing. That's classic Friday the 13th, too. I hear that and I instantly think of Friday the 13th. Yeah, you staying sleepy. You stay sleepy. He won't be back. He's wearing red. I wonder if they did that on purpose. I mean, that became a thing after a while, Using lots of red when something bad's about to happen. The psychology of colors is really interesting. You'd be surprised by how many of your favorite horror flicks, certain things were dictated by colors to help heighten the mood. One of the most famous ones is Freddy's sweater, because Wes Craven once read that the colors red and green, certain shades anyway, were the hardest for the brain to process laying next to each other. He even tried yellow and black or yellow and red, and it didn't work, and then he found out red and green for some reason is. So instantly your brain already has a little bit of unease. Something's wrong here, but you just don't know it, and you're not even actively thinking it. It's subconscious, Kind of like the Overlook Hotel, the way Kubrick, whoever designed it. to be impossible. So your mind's like, well, there's a window in that guy's office, but where they walk to, they can't possibly be a window, moving things around the background between, shot, reverse shot. Just slightly, like a chair, Little subconscious cues just to make you feel a little uneasy. Movies don't have that shit anymore. They don't. Believe it or not, the brain can use that. I mean, entertainment isn't just what you see and hear. It's how the story's being told, more times than not. Using the POV in this case, because you never know what's going on. Like they just did a real close up there. Was that the killer? No, of course it wasn't the killer. He would have been able to see her, but using that to their advantage with that cheap jump scare, because that's where he probably would have gotten it. All right, here we go. The infamous coffee scene. The infamous coffee scene. Sean Cunningham's like, okay, you just woke up. It's fucking 2 a.m, but you want coffee for some stupid reason. Look at that Sanka can. Do they still make Sanka? My dad drank Sanka. He had heart problems. Would never know it looking at him. But he did. No, I think she does the jar with the green label, if I remember correctly. Focusing on the door. Now, most people focus on the coffee. What she's doing with the coffee. And whether it was planned or not. What Cunningham is doing right now is setting up nothing for a bigger payoff later. It's almost like those first 2 kills. You saw a little bit of blood, and then you just saw some girl getting really scared and it fade to white. And you say to yourself, oh wow, I mean, if that's all they're going to do, here's the door again. Okay, no Ralph. You're waiting for it though. But what that does, it tells you, oh, okay, so I should be able to get through this. It's not too bad. And you've noticed that some of the kills have gotten worse. Some of them are a bit off screen for their big reveal later. Tom Savini likes to build it like that. Show you something, bring it back up, and then at the end, a big boom. Friday the 13th Part 4 being a really great example of that. I mean, Jason getting taken out in that movie is fucking brutal. Not to give you a spoiler, but his head slides down the blade of a machete while his face is still twitching. And the top of his head twists off just slightly. Beautiful stuff. This is easing you. You're like, okay, now I'm fucking bored. What the fuck is going on? Can we get to some action? That kind of thing. We know what's going on. It's that it's kind of a combination of both the Hitchcock Sting. I mean, he's talking about 2 people talking. You know the story. And a bomb blows up. Boom! You get a fright, but it's temporary. And that's more of a startle. But if you show the bomb and see these people talking, now you're like, fuck, guys, there's a bomb there. Get away, That's what they're doing now. We know the bomb is there. And here we go. The roller coaster is about to begin. Look how grisly that is. He even looks like he's in pain there. I've always loved this idea of setting up the bodies as like a booby trap thing. Alright, so this scene might be a little excessive in her tying up the door and getting every piece of furniture and moving this and moving that. And another Friday the 13th trope is about to happen, one of my favorite ones. I honestly believe they do it in all 4 of them. The first 4 anyway. I'm pretty sure they do it in the 4th one. I know they do it in the 2nd one. No, maybe not. Maybe the 2nd's the only one they don't do it. I'm trying to think. I know for a fact they do it in the third one. If you don't know, I'm talking about throwing a body through a window. Honestly, you know what I would have done? I would have turned the lights out. I would have armed myself with something. Left the door ajar a little bit, so maybe it's like, oh, they ran out, you know? No lights, the door's open. Who the fuck would do that with a killer around? And if they happen to come in, just be hidden very well and surprise them. But, I mean, I'm not in the actual situation, so I might panic just like this. But the rope on the doorknob, that was smart. But putting all this shit in front of the door, it's not going to stop the door from opening, for God's sakes, but it will slow somebody down from trying to get in quickly. Give you a chance to fucking vamoose, I suppose. Head first out a window. I don't think there's a back door to that cabin. There probably is now. Fire safety reasons. All this still exists. You can, they advertise it all the time. You can spend a weekend periodically. Sometimes Adrian King is there and hangs out with you. And you get a tour of all the filming locations at the camp. Sometimes it's a day thing. Sometimes it's an overnight thing. Sometimes it's a weekend thing. And I hear it's a really great experience. I would absolutely love to do it on a weekend where one of the members from the cast were there. Or even better, Tom fucking Savini. I love this music. This music is beautiful. What was that? What am I gonna do? Here it comes. Man, if there is anything classic Friday the 13th, that is it. She's alive. You can see the neck and all that. I always took that as a death twitch. Do you think she really would panic to the point where she would drop the bat? I mean, I know she wouldn't be thinking clearly, but I'm believing this. Who knows what you would do if your friend was dead and thrown through a fucking window at you? That looks like a happy accident. I would have kept that in too. No, same wheels. Same American. I think they're American Eagle. Your standard wagon wheel. One of the greatest reveals of all time. Who are you? See, I'm a little kid. I'm like, oh man, a grandma type is here. I really didn't. I didn't see this coming. I mean, I'm 6 years old. The fuck did I know? Matriculation. What's the name of that song and what album is it from? They're all dead. They're all dead. Matriculation. I come alive in the darkness. You're left murdered and nameless. Dead and buried and rotten. Half eaten by insects. I'll give you a hint. It's a Cannibal Corpse song. Was that hint needed? No. Mm-hmm. Was. It still is. Friday 13 Part 4. You could tell she was a seasoned actress. And she got a lot of hell. She caught a lot of hell for being in this. People were writing letters to her because I guess she used to be like peaches and cream, you know, like an American icon, kind of a symbol of not purity. I don't know what else to say, but niceness. But this twist is perfect. She's like slowly coming in and out of psychosis. Right there. We can go now, dear. Oh, that's not necessary. She actually says it. Yeah. In a way, I mean, I'm not saying what she did was right, but she's just trying to protect children. I can respect that. So in a lot of ways, it's like I don't consider her a villain. I really don't. I'll tell you what, if my kid died because of some bullshit, I mean, the councils themselves would be the ones punished, but I wouldn't fucking murder people every time they try to open the goddamn camp, but Ari Lehman, Lehman. I got to meet him in 2004 at the infamous Horror Seeker Horror Find convention in Scottsdale, Arizona. He's a fun dude. He's a fun dude. Oh man, I love this final fight. I love it. It's so gratuitous. So many flaws. Just so brutal, raw. Yeah, it's like the back wheels got changes to make it look a little different. But I'm almost willing to bet that's the exact same fucking Jeep. Look at her, she's like, yeah, my booby traps are working. Now, here is another question I have. So, alright, so this lady's trying to get Alice. Final girl. But everyone else she killed, it was kind of like a, haha, you see me now you're dead, right? With the exception, of course, of picking up the cook there. But why did she do this with the one chick? Why didn't she just fucking hide and murder like she did with everybody else? I never understood that part. But that's alright. This is where the infamous, if you don't know, that came from. Harry Manfredini was looking at this scene and started saying, "Killer, mommy." And it's not like CH, you know, like a lot of people think with ha 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 at the end. It's actually the consonants of KI from killer or kill and MA from ma. And he literally just went k, ma. And they ran it through that echoplex thing, which made it, you know, echo and dissolve in different rates. Repeat and, you know, deteriorate in each generation. You know, I mean, everything was kind of by accident with this. There was no money. They never thought it was going to do anything. And they didn't even know who was going to distribute it. It was just by luck that Paramount picked it up. Harry Manfredini, Frank Mancuso Jr., working for his dad at Paramount, took a chance on this thing. And though Paramount was embarrassed by it for the next number of years, they had no problem making money off of it. Why are you talking, bitch? Sorry, that's where he got the idea from. This close-up. Killer. Go for the head, yo. I'm just going to throw stupid shit at you. Get something to hit her with it? I don't know. I would have kept the fireplace polka. Take that. See, now I'm getting turned on. I love a good cat fight. But yeah, why all the dramatic for just this one chick? For real. Ugh! She took that shit right to the old piss clam. The hatchet wound. The gash. I bet you that hurts. That's all bone right there, you know? That's pelvic bone. And I suppose that little button there is going to be numb now. She's never going to be able to double click her mouse again. That's okay. Love the sounds in this flick. The overabundant use of the crane in the background and the crickets and the frogs doing that thing. Lots of shots of the moon. Is she a lunatic? Or do they just want to give her a moon fucking beauty mole? Killer. Okay, I had to correct myself again. That's where he got it from. Sorry. I knew it was a close-up of her mouth. I'm bad at this. That's gotta suck. I mean, I know she didn't know these people from fucking Adam, but still. I'm leaving it quiet for a minute. Shh. I love moments like this. I really do. All you hear is the heavy breathing, a little bit of ambient noise from the background, the creaking of some wood. That's what you'd be hearing in real life, you know? You don't always have to have that dramatic music going. They use the same trick, I think, in part two. She's under the bed, and she thinks dude left. A lot of people miss this. That little simple thing there. They see that now that the music's playing. Do you really have to hit that door with something? You could probably just walk through it. You could probably just nudge it with your fucking shoulder. That's probably the best weapon she could have picked. It's a shield and a blunt object. Cast iron is no joke. Look at it. Look at the joy on her face. She's like, I got you. Oh, she just goes right for it. I do have a gripe with the whole constantly dropping the weapon and walking away. Nah, I'm stepping on her neck right there with my heel. I'm crushing that windpipe. I'm not fucking around anymore. Like how the coat's still there. You know, they can't do continuity with police lights. But her raincoat's still stuck on the oven. Fucking still stuck in the oven. See, this is where it kind of gets repetitive and stupid. Another quiet moment. But you know what I remember about these horror flicks from the 80s, though? They were always kind of calm and cool throughout the movie. I mean, it'd be kill here, kill there, you know? But by the time the final fight happened, You left the movie going, whew, that was a lot. You had this overwhelming sense of, maybe not overwhelming, of not exhaustion, but like, wow, mentally you're just like, whew, glad that's over. You know, not meaning you didn't like the flick, but you don't get that these days. Part 2, I think, is an excellent example of that. This one kind of just does its own thing. It has a lot of quiet time, both getting up to everything. But this final battle right here, perfection. And you know what I love about it? It's gritty. They're doing this. They didn't have stunt people. They're fucking doing this at like 3, 4 in the morning. They're exhausted, rolling around in the sand. You got a woman who's approaching her older years. She's probably about the age I am now. Almost, maybe she's 50. I don't know. There we go. I remember seeing this and being so delighted. I was like, fuck this bitch. That to this day still looks wicked real, aside from the toothpicks. And I remember seeing the hair on the knuckles going, oh, it must be because she's evil. You know? Honestly, that's what I thought when I was a little kid. It must just because she's evil. It couldn't have been, a guy dressed up as a headless person doing the, Tom Savini magic. I'll be honest with you, this movie wouldn't be shit without Tom Savini and Harry Manfredini. We'll add Victor Miller in there. He had a great idea. He basically just wanted to put a bunch of teenagers in jeopardy, but he had to do it in a way that there was no adult interference. And he basically created the mom that he wished he had. A mom that would kill for her child. And though I don't condone that, I totally get it. This music, I've always wanted to play a guitar version of this, playing the main melody with the piano background going and the little synth thing. But look it, the music's calm, the water's calm, most importantly. You can finally breathe. The night is over. You might be safe. You are safe. Look at the cops are showing up and everything. This was filmed, blocked, edited, and cut perfectly. The cop's like, hey, you okay? And this realization of, I think it is over. You'd be surprised how not deep she is right now. And even in the shot where we get the close-up, they're even closer to the shore. It's all perspective trickery. Mainly that right there. And it's fall. The light, the leaves are changing. I notice stupid shit like that. Boat needs a little bit of work, but the canoe. And then I shit my pants. I legit jumped and shit my pants. I don't ever remember jumping into my mom's arms ever, with the exception of that. And the brilliance of that is it didn't happen at a beat in which your brain wanted it to happen. Even if you knew something was coming. He does it off tempo to the music, the calming music. They should have just left it with that and faded to black. But apparently, because the jump scare was literally just a copy Carrie, the hand coming up at the end, they had to kind of justify it. I think that nurse, if I'm not mistaken, was... Oh, never mind, I'm thinking of a different movie. Where Nightmare on Elm Street 3, where Wes Craven's wife plays a nurse. Pronoun game. The boy. Something about the way she says that. That guy plays a lot of different characters in Sean S. Cunningham movies. He tried to put him in a lot of things. I don't know if it was because he was like a buddy of his or what, but I want to say he's in House too. Either House or House 2. The first time I said House 2, I meant as well. Then he's still there. Sequel bait. And, you know, despite that this little scene here was forced in there to tell you that Jason wasn't real, it was a dream, they had to justify the jump scare, which I don't think they needed to. This is brilliant. I know I said that a lot. There it is. The lake's calm again. Is Jason out there? Who knows? We do. A little drop in the water. That must have happened by accident. Just a great flick. Great start to a franchise that I absolutely adore. Not my very favorite of the series. That's a tie between two flicks, and we will get to that here in the future. Bessie Palmer, thank you for doing this flick. You got so much hell for this. Adrian King got a fucking stalker. And Kevin Bacon didn't go on to do anything either. Or yeah, Harry Crosby, that's right. Bing Crosby's kid or nephew or something like that. So, well, there you go. Friday the 13th, the original. The one that started it all. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Hopefully you can't hear any of the music. I just paused the movie. I think it's a great... I don't think it's a great starting point. But if you're going to get into Friday the 13th, you should start there only for its lineage. But it's not what I think of when I think of an 80s slasher in the heyday of it. This one, though everyone references as it, is a little slower than most of them. It has a lot of, like the coffee scene and stuff like that. And I'll admit it is a slow burn to get to the good stuff. But the good stuff is worth the bad stuff, if that makes sense at all. This is such a great flick. I absolutely love it. It's perfect in every way, in its imperfections, I should say. It's wabi-sabi. Finding the perfection in the imperfection. I love it. I'm going to give this one 4 fuck yous out of 5. I don't know how I'm going to rate movies, actually. I didn't even think of that. But if there were stars or penises or thumbs up or whatever, I'd give them 4 of them out of 5. It's a fun flick. It gets something started. For the most part, it works, and the twist at the end is great. Though they stole from everything, and they admit it. It worked. It worked well, evidently, and became one of the highest grossing independent films of all time. One of. And one of the first flicks like this to really get distributed by a major player. And it's what started that trend. Let's find some cheap shit out there. And within days, a ton of fucking movies were greenlit. And we had stuff like My Bloody Valentine, Happy Birthday to Me, Prom Night, Terror Train. You name it, it happened. So, thanks to Friday the 13th, we have a genre of movies from the 80s that got more and more ridiculous and gratuitous. And I love every second of it. Guys, thank you so much for watching or listening. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy this, please let me know in the comments. Not because I want comments, but I want to know whether or not it's worth my time to do this. Because this is what I'm really kind of doing for you guys. Though I want to do it. I think it would be fun. But I'll be honest with you, I don't want to put forth this kind of effort if it's going to go unnoticed. So let me know in the comments if you like this kind of thing. If you have a movie suggestion, I'm going to try to stick around horror and things that I watched growing up that meant something to me. And it doesn't always have to be a horror flick. Sometimes it can be a comedy flick, you know. There's even a movie called Savannah Smiles. Look it up. I loved that movie when I was a little kid. My dad loved it to the point where he sought it out on DVD, and it wasn't an easy thing to find, especially without the fucking internet. So let me know down in the comments below, where would you rank Friday the 13th, the original, in the scheme of things? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Leave feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down, all feedback to the Creep is positive. Thank you always so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, take care, creep it real, and bye-bye. And as George Romero says, stay scared.